Hey everyone, Bob Thibodeau here. Welcome to another episode of the Ask Bob podcast where I answer your questions about podcasting. Now, we've been talking about what kind of podcast formats are the most popular. We've already gone over the one-on-one interview format and the solo commentary format. Today, we're going to talk about the panel discussion format. This type of format is a little more complicated to manage. It's good if you give a quality product, but it is a little bit more difficult for you to manage because not only are you going to be giving commentary, you will also be asking questions of your multiple guests. One type of podcast in this method is to have two or more guests, and especially with differing views or opinions on a particular topic. I would not recommend more than 3 panel guests. Otherwise, it'll be really easy for you to lose control of the interview unless you're an experienced interviewer. With 2 people, you can easily balance the amount of time each person's talking. With 3, it cuts down on the time each person can have to make their points. Plus, usually you're going to have at least one out of the 3 that is a more dominant personality than the other 2. And it'll be hard to control the reactions and comments of the other person if they feel that one of the other 2 panelists has made a comment they don't agree with. So the important part here is the podcast. It is not about you. You must remember that. It is not even about your guests. It's about your listeners. You are there to give value to your listeners. That's the reason why you invited these guests on your podcast, to give value to your listeners. You must keep that as the center of your focus. You are bringing in guests on the panel to give their opinion and add value to your listeners. In that regard, you must continue to highlight your guests over yourself. Make them feel as if it's about them, but keep the conversation centered around providing value to your listening audience. It's a delicate tightrope to walk, but those podcasters who can pull it off will see a dramatic rise in their listenership. This method of interviewing is awesome. That type of podcast is awesome, and it does work if you can walk that tightrope, maintaining control of the interview. That's why I say if you're just starting off, limit it to I would start off with 2. Actually, my personal opinion, you start off interviewing 1 person. After you get 100 episodes under your belt with that, then go ahead and expand it to 2. Once you get about 50 or more episodes under your belt with that one, you go to 3. Because if you try and manage 3, 4, 5 people on an interview and you haven't done it before, it's going to show. All right. And we want you to have a quality podcast. And that's the whole purpose of this training. All right. Next time I'll be discussing the final 3 types of podcasts: storytelling, fictional storytelling, and the hybrid method of podcasting. Storytelling, fictional storytelling, and the hybrid method of podcasting. Now, if you find these videos helpful, give me some help and make a rating and comment down below, because it helps others to find this information as well. Even a thumbs up works for me. Thank you in advance for helping me to get the word out about this program. Now, over the course of these videos and articles, I want to answer any questions you may have concerning podcasting. You can leave your question in the comment section down below, but a better way of communicating with me and making sure I see your questions rapidly is by using the contact form on the website, podcast-training.com/contact, or just go to the website itself, podcast-training.com, and click the contact button up in the top of the menu. If your question is asked on this podcast, I'll be giving you credit for bringing it to my attention. And you will receive a free download of my book, The Complete Guide to Podcasting. It's a $37 value, and you will receive it absolutely free if you send along your questions and they're used on this podcast, Ask Bob. If you include your podcast or website information, I will be sure to put it down in the show notes on the podcast episode that talks about your question. Who knows? This may send some increased traffic to your website, your podcast, your product offer, whatever it is you want to promote. I'll put the links in the show note down below. So go to our website, podcast-training.com/contact, fill out the contact form, and send in your question. And be sure to subscribe to this podcast in order to be notified when a new episode is aired and a new question is answered. Now remember, till next time, I want you to keep talking because you're awesome.